I struggled with lucid dream nightmares since I was young. Even in my crib, I have nightmares that I remember to this day. I used to sleep with a nightlight, and my door was left wide open all the times. I felt as if I was more in control. I could see what was outside my room. I felt more prepared that way, and I experienced sleep paralysis. Since then, I found myself inclined to lock my door before I sleep. If you never heard of something called sleep paralysis, consider yourself very lucky. When we fall asleep, we enter what's called REM sleep. During this phase, the physical body is held in place to keep us from sleepwalking or failing about during a dream. Sleep paralysis occurs when the REM sleep is interrupted. You are left in a half-conscious state, unable to make out whenever you are not awake. You feel as if you're between two different planes of existence. Your vision's blurred, and you can't seem to shut your eyes yet. At the same time, you fight to keep them open. You're left scared and confused when you realize you can't move. Paralysis. It is as well wearing a wrecking ball holding your entire body down against your mattress. The more you try to move and break free, the more terrifying it becomes. The sounds start to kick in, scraping, dripping, breathing, and then groaning. It is impossible to tell where the sound's coming from because they surround you. You find them, and they keep getting louder, closer. You finally gain more control of your voice vision. You see a bit more now, and you feel relief. But only for a moment. Suddenly, you wish you could go complete blind as you see a dark entity standing at your doorway, bent down over, as its spine has snapped in four different directions in its unnatural shape and height somehow managed to squeeze itself into your room. It gently caresses the wall as if to show it the only thing it intends on hurting is you. Its grossly long, sharp fingertips extend to puncture the wallpaper like the tip of an IV, injection the wall with a black. Your heartbeat is like a drum in both ears. You you can hear your own blood sloshing, adrenaline shooting up your spine, and every inch of your body tingles and screams at you to fight or flee. You're chained down by the presence of this horrifying entity. It stands and stares, breathing hoarsely as if its lungs been punctured 1,000 times. Its skin, even if you could call it that, a dead grey ripped, sagging as if gravity had overpowered its body. Its eyes, two black holes devoid of life or soul. Its mouth, no bomb jaw, just a limp top of a sharp teeth dripping with blood, mucus leaning down to your exposed neck. As you can see, its tendons and torn muscles struggling to keep the creature upright. The room smells like I can only describe as bloody, sweaty rag left to rot in the sun. The stench is nauseating, but you fight to keep it down. You'll choke and drown in your own vomit if you let something get the best of you. You try to look around, look at anything but the creature, but the rest of your room is just pitch black. You feel it if this thing is puncturing your eyes and needles and string, hauling at them, forcing you to watch it inches closer, staining your carpet with bloody inhuman footprints. It makes its way onto your bed, crawling, twitching like a wounding scorpion. Its neck's cracked, its fingers unhinged to stroke your cheek. You feel the ice cold breath against your face. Your heart is beating out of your chest and into your esophagus. It tries to stuff its fingers into your mouth, scraping it at the sides of your tongue and the back of your throat. You struggle to breathe as you wiggle your fingers and toes, fighting to break the paralysis. Then it goes all black. It is silent. A few minutes pass, your vision returns to you. You are free to move again. You are awake. You're in your room again, safe and sound. No creature, no hard scent, no cold breath, no demonic fingers scraping them inside your mouth. It was all in your head. You take a sip of water, a deep breath while lying down, attempt to sleep once more. Your heart rate slows, your muscle loosens, you finally come again. You take one final glance at the doorway to reassure yourself that no matter how real it felt, it was all a nightmare. But what is this taste of blood on your tongue? Around my late teens, I smoked weed and blah and drank a lot, suffered from horrific case of insomnia to booze. Staying awake all night knocked my sleep cycle out of orbit. I noticed myself becoming more increasingly paranoid about everything. Something as simple as the Earth flowing through space. I wasn't sure that one day soon an asteroid hit us or some lunatic would launch a nuclear war. I think the weed fueled my paranoia. It eventually culminated with the episodes of sleep paralysis. There's two types of people in this world. those who experience it, and the lucky bastards who was not so lucky to adore these monstrosities for years. For anyone who's not familiar with sleep paralysis, at basic level, it's when your mind's half awake and half alert, but your body is asleep. You try to move, but you can't. Some people report seeing a demon, saying you'll push it out their chest, making it hard to breathe. I never saw that. My hallucinations were more of audible more than visual, probably because I used to sleep with one of those pillows softly over my head. It was a comfort thing, giving me sense of security, like hiding on your blankets. So you're laying there, in your bed, you feel like you're completely awake, but you can't move at all. The harder you try to move, the more locked you become. It becomes quite unsettling when it first happens because you don't know what's going on. Then your mind starts playing tricks on you. You hear things, see things, you're absolutely absurd, that's not a dream. It feels so genuinely real. Your mind is somewhat mixed between deep sleep, REM sleep, where your body can conjure up fantasy dreams, and being completely awake with all your facilities. So, finish to say, it's a strange experience. So, as I previously stated, I never saw a demon. In fact, seeing a demon might be a relief for what I've endured. I could hear swing, sometimes voices of people I knew. Eventually, you'd fall to strange voices I've never heard before. One minute you're laying in bed, next minute you'll hear whispers in your ear, and you freeze. You'd feel yourself tense up, like a ticking time bomb. The whisper becomes more sounding, forcing you to move. Forcing you to tense up a bit. It's quite difficult to explain the physical reaction it causes. The stress build causing your head heart rate to skyrocket. But have types of dreams where you dark holiday and the shadow figures floating towards you. Try to run, but either way you can move, or simply run in slow motion. But that's what the type of sensation is. Anyway, these creature episodes have for years. I even once heard my granddad whispering after he passed away. It felt strangely reassuring, but the other voices would freak me out. It was difficult to make out what was being said at first, but it was being said very clearly, very closely to my ear. I would often feel my pillow being slowly pulled off my head, and feel the air in my ears as the whispers become stronger. It felt surreal, bizarre, but real. The more it happened, the more I would stay awake. I dread falling asleep, but depriving myself of sleep would only make my sleep paralysis more likely and worse. But one night, I distinctly remembered I was milling the house that weekend as my family were away in Spain. I was the only person in the house, which would had me on the edge. I was falling asleep, but wasn't in my bed long enough to get into deep REM. I used to download audio clips of Howard Stern to listen to when I was about to sleep. The banter used to keep my mind off things, and I would slowly drift off to sleep. But this night, everything was solely different. The Howard Stern clips were about 45 minutes long. I would edit them any shorter than 45 minutes. And it would not be long enough to send me into sleep. Anything longer might actually make me wake back up. But I fell asleep. But this night in particular, I was linked to Howard as I was driven off to sleep. Suddenly the clip ended. I could only be listened to for 10 minutes at most. Maybe the media player crashed. I could still hear the hum from my computer fan. The computer had not shut down. So what must have been it? But why would it crash randomly? Like when it never had before? I tended still to see what happened as I was getting into conversation and enjoying it. But then it hit me. As I tried to get up, I was locked stiff. I couldn't budge. This is way too quick for sleep paralysis to weekend. And I only been lying down for 10 minutes max. Suddenly the whispers began and I was freaked. I was sick to my stomach as the incident felt very different. I felt a soft pull off my covers. I had my duvet wedged between my knees. My voice level as I felt more comfortable. The pull on my covers got stronger, as did the whispers. The covers were eventually pulled through my knees, and my pillow was removed from my head. Everything became cold. I could feel my hands over my body. I was so stiff I couldn't do a thing. Whispers now spoke. Words that got louder and louder, and my hands on my body became stronger and more physical. Everything sounds so real. The sounds, the touch, and how could it even be sleep paralysis? I was only laying down for 10 minutes. Normally it takes an hour to kick in for sleep paralysis. As the sounds, they were more clear. The touch felt stronger. Almost non-consensual. After that night, I would never sleep paralysis episodes again. That was the end of it. Also, I thought. Then about 6 or 7 years later after my last episode, I was rooted through by a box of old things. It's a bit nostalgic. Some old toys, gadgets that fascinated me, and found my old phone. It was the phone I used to use for college, and I had taken a lot of photos with my old school Scottish pies. Photos used to be hosted on a social networking website called Bebo, but they've been taken out since, so it's nice to see their photos filled by college again. So I uploaded the photos on my Facebook account to make sure I never lost them again. I logged back in later. Suffice to say, the photos got a lot of comments from my old photos, who were suffering from nostalgia but after seeing them. Scrolling through my Facebook notifications, I checked through my comments. Facebook, I think like that. I have to see everything what people said. But one photo made me freeze on spot. Why is there a photo of lying in your bed? The comment said, over my photo, see a larger photo of me, built by the internet from Macleod. It was absolutely me in bed. Even scarier when I checked the time of the stamp of the photo. It coincided with 2 weeks of my family away to Spain that third time. But who could have took it? I was always locked in my bedroom at night, so no one could get in. Still to this day, I had no idea who took the photo, and it remains a mystery. Thankfully, I've not only endured any sleep paralysis then, and it feared that I shiver when the thought of having it again. But at least this is the evidence that I had it.